Hello, this is Ron Gormley. I'm a director in the Tenant Advisory Group of Cushman in Wakefield, Japan, based in Tokyo. COVID-19 has brought about unprecedented change to the Tokyo market, forcing occupiers to change their work styles at warp speed. New workplace strategies were put in place to address the immediate needs of working virtually, with future-proof workplace planning only now taking place. Practicing tenant representation in Tokyo for the last 20 years, it has been fascinating to witness the degree and speed of change during this market transition. However, lease structures in Japan may not provide the flexibility needed to easily implement the future work style, mainly due to restrictive verbiage related to restoration, fit-out construction, as well as break options and subleasing. Today, I will discuss 5 key lease renegotiation and restructuring considerations for Japanese occupiers, including blend and extend solutions. Understand your baseline situation. This means to recognize your occupancy rights, liabilities, and opportunities under your lease contract, as well as any maneuverability afforded to you by custom and practice in the Japanese market. You should also be aware of your lease type and any applicable notification dates. Japanese traditional type leases provide the tenant with the right to request a rent reduction at any point during the lease term, even mid-term, including the initial lease term and subsequent renewals. On the other hand, a fixed-term lease is generally less flexible, as the ability to terminate prior to expiry is prohibited, unless a break option or other similar provision was negotiated into the contract. Fixed-term leases are more prevalent in newer buildings, as they only came into effect in Japan in the early 2000s. Be aware of your building's occupancy, including incoming and outgoing tenants, and any pending vacancy. Just one lease termination could provide you with an opportunity to restructure your lease to secure reduced rents and/or other benefits. Being empowered with this information will be an important aspect in creating the negotiation strategy. Articulate your value proposition. Just asking for a discount will not result in optimal terms and conditions. A structured approach combined with a leveraged strategy has been proven to result in a higher probability of success. There are a number of items other than the rent potentially to be negotiated. Japanese leases tend to offer a high degree of flexibility, as lease terms are generally shorter at 2 or 3 years, or may include break option for longer 5 or 10-year leases. Ensure the flexibility under the lease is retained, and secure terms such as early termination rights, rights to reduce and expand, renewal options, and numerous other non-financial deal points. Next, leverage the right data. Using market information that is not biased towards the ownership side of the market is vital to accurately grasp current and emerging market trends, pricing, and other factors that are advantageous to you, the tenant. Cash security deposits are typically 10 to 12 months of rent. Although landlords have historically not been receptive to bank guarantees or letters of credit, or to any reduction of deposits, some have been more receptive to hybrid arrangements in recent years for higher quality tenants. Partner with your landlord. Where possible, landlords are generally empathetic with tenants that are facing hardship, and they seek to foster relationships that will extend beyond the current lease term. It's important for a tenant's request to be realistic. Consider the landlord's perspective, which may depend on the ownership structure: an institutional landlord, J-REITs, or a generational private landlord. Blend and extend. A blend and extend lease restructure, which is a deal that contains advantages for both the tenant and the landlord, is when an immediate rent reduction is provided for the tenant in exchange for a longer-term lease commitment. The landlord trades off a lower rent today in exchange for the security of a longer lease term. Chances for success are best when A, there are 12 to 24 months remaining on a fixed-term lease, or at any point during a traditional Japanese lease, and B, current rents being paid are above fair market value. Alternatively, under the traditional Japanese lease, the tenant has the unilateral right to terminate its lease at any point by providing 6 months prior termination notice. In such cases, in exchange for a rent reduction, the owner will likely require the tenant to add a termination prohibition clause to the existing traditional lease. A blend and extend must be a win-win transaction. It requires realistic market understanding and realistic lease concessions by both the landlord and the tenant in order to succeed. Understand the levers you possess. Experience tells us that landlords respond well to opportunities to create long-term value through partnership. This is amplified by historic Japanese business culture, custom, and practice. Be sure to identify opportunities where you have multiple locations with the same or related landlords. Smaller independent landlords may be motivated to address your specific lease. Know that you have support. Having the right real estate professionals can help guide you to ensure you are signing off on the best deal. Cushman & Wakefield's professionals are working diligently with clients, supporting their leasing needs. Our collaborative culture and extended connections with our global leasing teams, enabling us to share best practices and successful leasing strategies that are achieving optimal solutions for our client base. Contact Cushman & Wakefield for a comprehensive assessment of your situation. Thank you.